are they?
No, fair enough.
You can't be young and old. You have to be one or the other.
No, I didn't say old, did I? I said it.
Well, you said a long period of time. I suppose if you're holding your breath, 3 minutes is quite a long period of time, because after 2 you're dead. But
yeah, okay.
What are you suggesting is a long period of time for this brain deterioration?
Well, the average length of a canine, i.e. in this particular species, a fox.
Just a number will do, a time.
Okay, fair enough.
6
about
months?
6 years, I would think, was the average
6
length.
years?
Yeah.
So we've established that it would take 6 years for the brain to deteriorate.
Yes, but we're not. We haven't actually mentioned.
Well, you're not going to be a cub for 6 years, are they?
No, we haven't actually mentioned to which degree the brain has deteriorated.
Well, no, but you introduced this. You're the one that said the cubs would be looking for, if you like, unmarked territory.
Yeah.
And you're the one that said that they would, in response to my suggestion, that they wouldn't go 25 miles, my apologies, through a tunnel to find this unmarked territory. Then you said, well, the brains might be addled by rabies. Now you're telling me it'll take 6 years to addle it. So these cubs are 6-year-old cubs.
No, I am saying.
Did they not leave home because they didn't like it?
No, that is not what I said, Alan.
Well, that seems to be what you said.
What I actually said was that it would take 6 years for the rabies to kill.
Well, the question I asked you, and the reply you gave was 6 years, the question I asked you was how long would it take for the brain to be addled? You said 6 years. I implied, or I think that answer implies, that you meant 6 years for the brain to be addled.
Oh, I'm sorry, I do apologise.
Don't apologise. Try being right the first time, because I really haven't got all night why you apologise, not apologise, or what have you.
Okay, fair enough, Alan. I'm not prepared to argue all night.
Good. How do Anne?
Hello, Alan.
Hello.
I think I've got the answer to your riddle. I think he's a Chinese.
You think he's a Chinese?
Yes. The barber shaved everybody in the village. Who didn't shave himself? Who shaved the barber? Right?
So who can be spelled H-O-O?
Yes.
As in Who Flung Dung,
Yes.
the book written, or the author of that great book, Mark on the Ceiling.
That's it.
Right.
That would make sense,
We'll
wouldn't
settle
it?
for that one, yeah.
Yeah.
You're perverted, you are, woman. You ought to be having pills or something. Right, all right, we'll have that one. Who didn't shave himself? That's another good one.
That's it.
Could be a female called Who, and then we've really gone for it.
Well,
with a beard.
Yeah.
All right, ta-da.
Bye.
Original thoughts, what we want, and you can't get any more original than that. How do Rob? Rob's not there. How do Maurice?
Hello.
Hello.
I just want to put the poor Yorkshire lady out of her misery.
So do I. Have you got some gas?
Ian MacDonald.
Ian MacDonald. The man is correct. Thank
That's
you for
correct.
that. You've put me out of my misery.
Is that
all.
better?
It's much better.
You know this damn barber?
Who Flung Dung, yes.
Yeah. Another slant on it.
That's an unfortunate one when she just said he was a Chinese.
I
Another
thought
slant
you'd like that.
Go on.
He shaved himself.
No, he can't.
Yeah.
No, he can't, because it says it
Go on then, say it
shaved
again.
everybody who didn't shave themselves.
Yeah, so he shaved everybody that didn't shave themselves.
But he did shave himself, so he didn't shave them.
So everybody in the village don't shave themselves except him.
What? But you just said he did shave himself.
No, everybody in the village doesn't shave themselves. He's the only one that does.
Oh. The barber who shaves everybody in the village.
Who doesn't shave
Who
themselves.
does it himself, right.
Yeah.
So if they don't shave themselves, he does.
He shaves them for them, yeah.
Yeah. But he does shave himself.
Yeah, he's the only one in the village.
Who does?
Yeah, I should have stuck with Ian MacDonald, shouldn't I?
I think you should have done, yeah, you're doing all right with Ian MacDonald. Actually, I think you might be right there, but thank you, I'll have to think about it longer.
All right,
Ta-ra.
then. Bye.
Gonna have an headache before tonight's out.
Deal direct with Direct Windows.
Direct Windows, the best way to buy UPVC windows and doors in Lancashire. We install the superb Bowater Halo system, and all work is guaranteed and underwritten at Lloyd's of London. Buy direct, avoid the middleman, and make hard cash savings. Visit the new factory showroom 7 days a week at 64 Red Scar Estate, Longridge Road, or phone Paul Kelly on Preston 703 008.
Deal direct with Direct Windows. Direct Windows.
If you are a cash and carry customer at Matalan, we have great news for you. Our sale starts at 9 a.m. Thursday the 30th of July, and all our sale goods will be offered on a first-come, first-served basis. Make sure you're not at the end of the queue for the sale of a lifetime at Matalan, Home Road, Bamber Bridge, Preston. Late trading Tuesdays, Wednesdays and Thursdays till 8 p.m.
Demon, I don't mind you listening to the 7-Up Music Machine concert.
Good, because it's Jackson Brown.
However, I do object to procrastination.
I wouldn't do that, no. I was just lazing around.
Lazing around? This isn't a holiday camp.
Oh, no, it's hell down here, isn't it?
The 7-Up music machine. The hottest music from the coolest drink.
That's the 7-Up music machine with Jackson Brown this Friday between 7 and 8.
How do, Joe?
All right, Al. Is it the man in the village who's got the beard?
No, because if he's got a beard, he's hang on. There's a reason.
I've got you there.
No, you haven't. I've already given the answer about why you can't have a beard, and I can't be asked thinking of it again.
Well, going on to Jeffrey Archie then. Can I go on to him?
Why not? Everybody else did.
Well,
Can you afford it? Go on.
You know, he was speaking to this fella from this village who had a beard, like. And the reporter was saying to him, well, hey, Jeffrey, how do you feel about this incident that's gone on, like? And Mr. Archie said, well, I don't feel too grand.
Oh. I think that might be libelous.
I don't think so. Don't switch it off.
I wasn't going to. Ta-ra.
Ta-ra, Al.
How do, Dave? Goodbye, Dave. How do, Mark?
Hello, Alan.
Yep.
Oh, hello. Right, what it is, my mum bought a television and a video from a fairly well-known, shop in Blackburn. I'll not tell you which one, obviously. And what's happened, we had a bit of trouble with the television, so we rung up the firm and we asked them, could we have a television engineer out? Last Saturday it was. And anyway, when we actually bought the hi-fi, we wanted it next day service, and I'm a bit nervous. We got promised that. We got promised next day service. Anyway, so obviously on the Saturday...
Can I ask you a daft question? This hi-fi you bought...
No, it was a telling video.
A telling video?
Television and video recorder.
Yes.
Yeah.
So why did you just mention hi-fi?
I didn't mention hi-fi.
You said, when we bought this hi-fi, we asked for next day service. That was what you said.
Yeah, I think it's nerves, Alan.
It may well be nerves, but I've got to understand what you're saying. Whether it's nerves or not, it's irrelevant. If you 1 minute call it a telly and the next minute call it an hi-fi, I'm ghost.
Okay, sorry. Right, anyway, this television and video, right, they promised us next day service when we bought it, like I said, and we rung up on Saturday, so obviously next day service in the working week will be a Monday, probably. Anyway, they didn't come till the next Tuesday.
When you say the next Tuesday, is that in 8 days' time or the following day?
The following Tuesday.
Answer the question straightforwardly. Do you mean in 8 days' time, or do you mean in 1 day's time? Next Tuesday means nothing, doesn't it?
Well,
what is next Tuesday?
There was Saturday, then the Sunday, then the Monday, and then that Tuesday.
And they came on the Tuesday?
They came on the Tuesday.
Thank you.
Right. And what we're up with the television, it were just drifting off channel all the time. So, he had a look inside and...
I don't really care about the fault on the television.
Yeah.
I can't answer that problem.
Yeah.
I can't answer any questions related to how you mend tellies.
Right.
So tell me what the problem is in terms of your dissatisfaction with the service.
Yeah. And anyway, while he was here, he said...
Tell me what the problem is in relation to dissatisfaction with your service, or get off.
Well, he told us that the video needed cleaning.
Good night. How do, Mark?
Hello, Alan.
Yes.
It's about this barber, right? Right, it depends on the punctuation in it, because if it says there's this barber who shaves everyone in the village who does not shave himself, if there's a comma after village, it sort of says there's a barber who shaves everyone in the village but doesn't shave himself. That's what it means. So he's got a beard.
That who would have to be whom? Or would it?
No.
There's a barber in a village who does not shave himself. I suppose who does not shave himself could be a definition of the barber. Yes, we'll accept that as one of the explanations.
And there's another one.
And there's more. Who wears wellies and says, and there's more?
Jasper Carrot.
Myra Hindley. Go on.
Oh, God, that's it. Right, the fellow that rung in could be some really bad sadist, and he just wants to wind everyone up all night.
Go on, say again.
He could be a sadist, the fellow that rang up, and he just wants to get everyone going and really mad.
He definitely is a sadist. He's driving rod crackers next door anyway. But mind you, it wasn't far to go for him.
Well, that's what he
Thank you very much. Ta.
And it could be, the other night somebody rung up about Tom Jones.
Yeah.
Well, this fella could have been in the pub.
He could have been. I thought it was you. How do, Michael?
Hello, Mike. Alan.
I'm Alan. You're Michael.
Yeah. I just want to discuss, if I may, I don't know if you're aware of the charging that's come into agriculture now. Farmers used to be allowed free advice from the Ministry of Agriculture. Now they're going to have to be charged, I think it's approximately £100 a visit. This is what the government's brought in.
Sounds fine to me.
Well, it's unfair. I mean, how's a farmer going to look after his...
Throw him a few beans, they'll be all right. How do, Michael?
Hello, Alan. It's about this barber thing.
Go ahead.
Yeah, right. No, the barber shaves everyone in the village who don't shave themselves.
Dunt?
Yeah.
Dunt want anywhere in it. We never had dunt.
Well, doesn't, you know. Well, anyway, that implies that some people shave themselves, doesn't it?
This is so.
So the barber is one of those people who shaves himself. Yeah?
Hang on, give me time. The barber in the village shaves everybody who doesn't shave himself. But that means he shaves him, and that's one person he's shaving.
No.
Hang on. Yeah, I suppose that could work as well.
Yeah, well, that's got to be it, hasn't it?
Well, it's got to be. If you say it's got to be, Michael, I'm not one to argue, as you know.
But the implications there, innit? You know, in the question.
If you say so.
Do you reckon, yeah?
Well, you reckon.
Well, yeah, I know, but it's got to be like the final answer, hasn't it?
It might not be the final answer, to be honest. I think we might get the odd one or two more before the night is out.
All right, then.
Yes.
Okay, then. Bye.
Bye-bye. How do, Martin?
How do, Alan?
Yeah.
I think this is what should happen to all people who like American.
We don't want to hear that. How do, Fred?
Hello.
Yeah.
I'd like to talk about where I agree with you when you said about children are only, more or less, we borrow them. We do our best with them.
Borrow them? We don't borrow them, love. We rent them.
Well, yes, you're right. I agree with you entirely.
Good.
Because my mother taught us that. Never think that the children belong to you. You bring them up the best you can and put all the good in them that you can, and then they go their own way. And that is right, isn't it?
That's how it should be, yeah.
Well, that's how it ought to be with everyone.
Ultimately, that is how it is with everybody.
Yes.
Some don't see it that way, but that is clearly how it is. Thank you. It's nice to get someone to agree. The trouble is, Fred, you must feel that your opinion is now suspect, because if you agree with me, a good chance of you being wrong.
I doubt it.
All right,
we're all up to believe that.
I believe it too. Thanks for your call.
Thank you.
Bye-bye now.
Bye.
How do, Chris?
Hello, Alan.
Yep.
I'd like to talk about the Channel Tunnel, please.
Talk about it.
I'd like to raise certain issues that I feel just as or more important than rabies. I think the Channel Tunnel is a good idea because it'll encourage more trade with the EC. And
how will it encourage more trade?
Easier for cargo to be transported.
Well, yes, but the difficulty isn't getting it. The difficulty in getting it here isn't the problem. The difficulty is selling it. If we were prepared to buy 35 million Renault cars this year, I promise you they'd get them here somehow.
Yes, but at a higher cost, and therefore...
Well, I don't know that it's going to be that much cheaper. They're going to charge an arm and a leg to go through the damn tunnel, aren't they?
Initially, yes, but it's relatively over time. It's going to work out a lot cheaper.
But that's only a thought.
So,
I don't know how you can substantiate that. That's a prediction. So what's another advantage?
Well, once the private investors who they're hoping to encourage get their money back, then the fares won't rise as high as the channel operators on sea. And
you don't sound very convinced of that. In fact, you've only just thought of that.
No,
I honestly don't think I don't think the investors in the Channel Tunnel, who will ultimately be the city, particularly if they do get the money to dig it, then it will become a public company. It already is a public company, but people will then be exchanging the shares on the stock market, and they will want as big a profit as they can get. And if they have a monopoly, they're going to charge whatever they can get for it.
Therefore, they will always be able to undercut the ferry operators.
I don't necessarily agree that they will always be able to undercut the ferry operators. There is a possibility that they'll undercut them for a while to make them bankrupt. Then when they've got them bankrupt and they've got the monopoly, they'll skin us.
No, but the state can regulate such natural monopolies.
The state on the face of it can regulate,
The
but
status
unfortunately,
in America.
unfortunately, it isn't going to be one state, it's going to be 2 states. And we all know about the French and how kind-hearted and delicate and gentle they are, and how much they encourage people to take money from them, don't we? That's why we're going bankrupt paying all that money for French farmers. We have a milk lake, a wine lake, an apple lake, and all of it has been created by the frogs.
Apple Mountain.
An apple mountain. Apple juice lake, if you like.
Yeah.
But the truth is that the frogs are ripping off the EEC. This is this kind, considerate nation that floods this place with UHT milk, and then gets machine guns and roadblocks to stop land going in there.
I agree.
Yes, the
they are wrong to stop.
British government, in its honourable and stupidly uncompetitive style, may well limit the price, but the frogs are going to rip us off. They've never stopped doing it before. I don't think an hole in the ground is going to convince them they shouldn't do it now.
But it's more than just a hole in the ground. It's a link between.
It's a link between 2, but the people that own it will be partially
has often been
French.
considered one of our strongest points in defensive terms, but in trading terms with the rest of the world, it's very weak. For instance, during the war, it was difficult for us to trade.
I'm not suggesting. I'm sorry. Listen.
Ships and air are our only chance.
Listen.
The tunnel will make the southeast more prosperous.
Listen.
And the whole economy by spread effect.
Listen. You are not going to make the frogs honourable people by digging an hole that reaches them.
Well, that's the kind of attitude we've got to destroy.
Well, that's why we've got it, because the slimy little garlic stinking frogs have been ripping us off for 2 centuries, and gobbards like you have been saying, well, it'll be all right, they'll stop soon. Get off, you pleb. How do Simon?
Hello, Alan. I've got another problem for you.
Have you?
Yeah, and you'll never...
I'll do Maurice.
It's Maurice, you've done it again.
What do you want? Never mind.
It's not about this barber.
Thank God for that.
Do you want one to get them going for tomorrow night?
Yeah, but ring me tomorrow night.
Oh, no, I've booked you twice tonight.
Well, don't bother then.
Hey?
Don't bother. We don't want another one. We don't want not one now for tomorrow, because if they hear it now, they'll start ringing now.
Will they?
Yeah.
Oh, go on then. Let them keep on with the barber one then.
All right,
I'll ring you tomorrow night.
I look forward to it, honest.
I bet you will.
I'll do Mark.
Hello, Alan. I'm just asking, who passes the immigration laws in this country?
Sorry?
The immigration laws.
What about them?
Who passes them?
Who do you think passes them?
Yeah, no, but who upholds
Who do you think passes them?
The government.
Well done. It really was a good guess.
Who upholds them, though?
Well, we're all
Jeffrey Archer.
We're all supposed to attempt to uphold the immigration laws. However, the people given the responsibility of doing so are, to a certain extent, the Home Office, and to another extent, the bods at the ports.
Well, you see, the MPs who were elected by the public are there to uphold these laws.
No, they are not there. They are not there to uphold these laws. They are there to make new laws.
Oh, they are.
Yes.
Who is it that carries them out? The law, the abiding of the laws.
The civil service ultimately implement the law and phrase the law. The principle of the law is decided by Parliament.
Oh, so okay. I'm from Manchester.
Well, you have a lot to bear.
So there's a guy...
You're going to have more soon as well. It's very nearly midnight, and I really haven't got all night to wait while you get your questions sorted out. So get lost. No, get lost. That's far easier. Right now, it's time for the Midnight News.
Midnight News, this is Alan King. The superpower arms negotiators in Geneva seem to be heading for deadlock. The Soviets are still insisting that America scraps all Star Wars research before discussions can start on missile cutbacks. The American negotiators are studying the latest proposal from the Soviets, but US spokesman Henry Cooper says there's nothing new.
We are disappointed that the Soviet Union continues to hold 50% reductions in strategic offensive arms hostage to stopping the U.S. SDI program. This unconstructive posture has not changed since it prevented agreement at the Reykjavik summit.
An Interpol detective has admitted that he's frightened of the drugs underworld, which is why he won't name a witness against the British lifeguards captain accused of smuggling £500,000 worth of cannabis into Sweden. The Interpol man says his witness claims Captain Simon Haywood was fully aware of the cargo of drugs he was carrying. From Captain Haywood's trial in Stockholm, Lindsay Taylor.
Inspector Gunnar Larsson told the court his informant, an ex-criminal strongly against drugs, had named the captain's brother as being behind a European smuggling network. The captain was to drive to Sweden and show where the cannabis was stashed. He fully understood what he was doing and was to be paid £20,000. The inspector said his informant was 100% reliable, but when the defence challenged him to name him or risk going to prison, he refused. He said to do that would expose himself and his family to the wrath of the British drugs network. Lindsay Taylor, IRN, Sweden.
At least 30 people have died in violent riots in Sri Lanka, where demonstrators took to the streets in protest at a peace deal which gives the minority Tamils a semi-independent zone in the north of the country. The agreement signed by the Indian and Sri Lankan governments is aimed at ending 4 years of conflict with Tamil rebels. Freak storms have caused havoc in the southeast of England. Water up to 9 feet deep cut off several villages in North Essex, with dozens of motorists stranded and many families having to take refuge in the upstairs of their homes. Simon Israel reports.
Worst affected were the towns of North Weald and Epping. The floods brought down telephone lines and left hundreds of homes under several feet of water. Police helicopters had to be flown in. Resident Alison Bedino says there was chaos.
There's a place called Duck Lane in North Weald, in Thornwood. And the cars just were literally sort of floating down there. It was terrible.
A stranded coach party of 10 had to be rescued. Now the water levels have gone down and a massive clearing up operation is underway.
A sexy accessory designed for yuppies has been banned by a High Court judge. The cheekily named condom has been stopped from going on sale because it cashes in on the portable filing system known as a filofax. Linda Duffin reports.
The condom, which bore a name not dissimilar to Filofax, was designed to be slipped inside the posh personal planner. It was being marketed as the ultimate yuppie accessory for your personal orgasmizer. But Filofax say the condom company, which revels in the name of phallic design, is trying to pass off its product as being linked with their own. They've now won court orders banning the sale and distribution of the condom until further notice.
Independent Radio News.
Ring him if you dare. Allan Beswick, the Late Night Show.
And if you want to join us on the phone in, the telephone number is Preston 56 1000. How do, Sonny?
Alan, it's about this barber.
Go on.
Well, he doesn't shave himself, does he?
You tell me.
He uses imac.
I used to, oh dear, I shouldn't know up to this. I used to know a guy, indeed was very friendly with a guy, who used imac.
It was me.
It wasn't you. You're not from Barbados.
Can't say so, no.
No, he was.
Oh well.
So if Tony or his brother St Elmo is listening, good evening. Thank you for that. Ta-ra.
Okay, see ya.
Howdy, Charles.
Hello, Mr. Beswick.
Yep.
I'd like to talk about the curious state of affairs in Preston concerning the arts. There seems to be a bit of a contradiction, in my opinion, because according to a lot of research that's been done in Preston, there seems to be a market for certain arts that aren't really catered for in Preston. Take, for example, classical music. Da, 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 da.
Hang on a minute. I'm not having that. I'm not having it. What about the Red Rose Proms, all week of it?
Oh, you mean... What about that? Wonderful and glory.
Thank you.
Pleasure. How do, Ken?
Hello, Al.
Yeah.
Can I set you 2 teasers?
I think we've had enough of teasers. Go on, give us one.
Well, a car's parked outside of a hotel, and to move it, it's going to cost £2,000. Why?
I don't know.
Well, another one. A man who lives on the top floor of a flat top floor of a block of flats.
He's not very tall, is the answer to that one.
Yeah, well...
I've heard that before.
Well, the other one then.
Cost £2,000 to move it?
Yeah.
Well, I haven't a clue.
Should I leave it with you?
No, because it doesn't intrigue me. It doesn't make me wonder about it. So you might as well tell me.
It's a game of Monopoly.
Oh, I see. Yeah, that's fair enough.
Okay.
Would have been all night with that. You'll have to, if you're going to use that one in the future, I would suggest that you find a better way of expressing it, because it doesn't excite the mind.
Yeah, I'm...
Never mind, thank you anyway. Okay. How do, Ben?
How do, Alan? How art thou?
I'm well.
You're very well. This fellow that's going on to you about this rabies thing.
Yes, well, there's been two fellows going on about this rabies thing, as you define it.
Well, alright, I reckon that if a bookie would give you odds on that fox coming through that tunnel, I reckon he'd give you about 23 million to 1.
Why 23 million as opposed to, for example, 22 million?
Well, 23, 24, 25. That's the reckon it is, the miles under the tunnel.
Yeah.
Right. I don't reckon he'd get the first 3 yards.
Why?
I reckon a ruddy great lorry'd crush it before it's even got in middle lane.
Well, you see, the ruddy great lorries aren't going to be covering the whole of the tunnel. There's going to be a service tunnel which will generally be vacant, will be empty.
I didn't know that.
No, well, you see, you need the information. Does that shorten the odds?
That shortens it a bit. Just a bit. The other thing about this barber while we're on... Are they still there?
Aye.
I reckon it's Sid, the barber.
Why Sid?
Why Sid? Because when he shaved everybody else, he'd shot off to buy his gas shares.
Oh, I see.
Does that answer the question?
No, I think I preferred the one about the fox going in the bookies. How do, Sarah?
Good evening, Alan.
Good evening. Well, good morning now, isn't it?
Oh, yes, good morning. Can you tell me what a sentence is supposed to contain, like verbs and adverbs?
Well, there's no requisite upon it to have adverbs, but a sentence must be a statement that makes sense. So from start to finish, it has to make sense.
I see. Okay, fine.
That's where it gets its name from, sillily.
True. I'm just trying to help my son with some of his things, and there's certain statements, and they have to say whether they're sentences or not. And I just wondered whether there was any...
the definition I was always taught by a book called The First Aid in English was a statement that made sense, or a collection of words that made sense, be it a question, be it an exclamation, or a statement, or what have you. Such as the word help can be a sentence. Indeed, the shortest sentence in the Bible is a two-word sentence, Jesus wept.
Yes, true.
Makes sense. You know what it means.
Certainly. Okay, thanks a lot.
Ta-ra.
Bye.
How do, Steve?
How do, Alan? I'd like to talk about the way some prisoners are treated in prisons. I believe that they're treated too well, and that a lot of money is put into rehabilitating them, when really it's a waste of time.
When you say really it's a waste of time, do you mean that you know in advance it will be a waste of time, or do you mean that afterwards we discover it to have been a waste of time?
Well, for instance, can I give you an example?
I don't want an example, I want an answer to the question. Do you mean that we know in advance that it will be a waste of time, or alternatively? Yeah. How do we know?
By the fact that there's no way that these people will be let out of prison in the future, and that...
Well, I don't know any criminal of which that is the case,
well,
other than recently.
Yeah,
would you like me to finish, or would you like to take the conversation over and carry on your own entirely?
No, I'll let you carry on.
Thank you. Other than recently, we have, I think, probably decided that Myra Hindley and Ian Brady are never going to be released, but the law hasn't decided that. I think the public at large have made that decision.
Well, say for the Ripper, there's a lot of, a lot of money goes obviously into the psychiatrist to go into, why he does that. But I don't think they'll ever find any proof of why he went round killing people. I don't suppose they ever will within my lifetime either find conclusive
proof as to what makes the Ripper and other such mass murderers do what they did. However, that doesn't mean to say we've got to say, oh, we can't find it, so let's stop looking, because as soon as we stop looking, we condemn ourselves to having those people in our society forever. And if it takes 5 million years to find out, then it was time well spent.
But do you not think that the ratepayers who are paying for this...
It's actually the taxpayer, but go on.
Sorry, yeah, the taxpayer. Do you not think that they've got a right to see some results? And if the way...
Well, it depends on what you mean by a right to see some result. If you mean that we should never ever spend 1 penny of taxpayers' money other than finding out things that we A, know to be there, and B, know we will get a conclusion to within that one financial expense, then no, I don't think that. Otherwise, we would never discover anything. Because, you know, to use a ludicrous statement, you've got to kiss a lot of frogs before you find your handsome prince. You've got to make a lot of mistakes. You've got to follow a lot of blind alleys before you come up with the answer. Penicillin wasn't discovered overnight. The man that discovered it overnight, but they've been looking at that sort of thing for 200 years before. When we decided to fly for the first time, Orville and Wilbur Wright, they weren't the first, there is an argument, because there were people doing similar research all over the world, and they were just the first to get it documented. There is an argument that says the first person was a German. So people were trying and failing for a long time. There is a statement or a story in Greek mythology of a man called Icarus, who made wings out of birds' feathers and stuck them to him with wax to escape from prison. He and his son escaped from prison that way, but they failed in their escape because they flew too near the sun. The wax melted, the feathers came off, they fell to the ground. So man has been considering flight for years. But if you're saying that Icarus should never have bothered because the wax was too expensive, I would say, crap, you've got to make a lot of mistakes in order to get it right in the end.
Yeah, do you not think that, though, these prisoners, well, to put it in a plain sentence, are treated too well? You know, the fact that...
Well, you've just given us your reason for thinking that in particular cases when talking about psychiatric investigation and treatment, but are you suggesting that what we should do is treat our prisoners badly, be inhumane?
No, but what, you know, the days when they used to slop out in the morning, now they've got the colour televisions and the videos and all that.
And still they slop out in the morning, and very few prisoners have videos available to them at all. And I honestly don't know of any prisoner that has a video available to him or her. Well, I do know of some prisoners who have televisions.
Yeah, but there seems to be more of a... can I give an example of one which I've actually been around?
You're obviously dying to give you an example, so go on, give us your
Well, I've been around Weymouth at,
yes.
Just outside Leyland,
yes.
And to me it seemed more of a bustling holiday camp.
Well, why didn't you stay?
Well,
why didn't you stay? It was such a lovely place. Why come back out into this cold, cruel, harsh world where you've got to struggle for a living? It's a sensible question. You might not think it, but tell me why you didn't stay. If somebody said to you, well, look, Weymouth, great hotel, brilliant, no worries, 3 meals a day, colour television, video in your room, nice, comfortable lifestyle, no worries, would you move in?
Oh, no, obviously.
You wouldn't choose to live in Weymouth? You wouldn't choose? Why not? It's such a lovely place to be. I can't imagine why you don't want to be there.
It must be a lovely place for some people to be.
I don't think it's lovely for anybody. But you're telling me that given a choice, you would carry on with your lifestyle as it is, rather than go into Weymouth, the prison that you cite as being far too gentle.
Oh, yeah. Well,
so, in other words, their life isn't as good as yours.
No, but, you know...
Well, when you say no there, do you mean you agree with me that your life is better than theirs?
Oh, yes, I hope so.
So what do you want? Do you want them to hang by their toes?
Oh, no, but...
Well, what do you want? What degree of deprivation do you want us to force upon these people?
They should be doing more... They should be doing like in the old days where they used to sew bags up and then let out.
Great idea. Let's have them sewing mailbags. Brilliant. Have them sewing mailbags. Good idea. Really, really clever.
No, I know.
You're not by any chance in the business, the manufacturing industry of making mailbags, are you? Because if you are, you're about to be made redundant.
No, but...
No, so do you think prisoners should be used to increase unemployment, or do you think we should just have them there getting bored?
Oh no, I don't think there are any companies these days who make mailbags, are there? I thought
yes,
it was all done by prisoners.
No, it isn't, because they're not all canvas these days. There's a lot of plastic and all kinds of other crap now.
No, I'd just like to make the point that I think that some of them are treated too well.
Well, what do you want done?
Well, they should have these not as many privileges. You know, they're in there to pay for...
Yes, indeed, they are in there to pay, and it's the being in there that is the payment. That is why you would prefer not to be there, because being there isn't particularly nice. But if you don't give them privileges, then you have nothing to trade. And at the end of the day, even in prison, the whole of our society is based, in law and order terms, on the carrot and stick. Sometimes we beat people for doing things wrong, other times we give them things for doing things right. It's the reward.
But even though they can try and do this, they can try and help prisoners, I think isn't...
I'm not suggesting that you give them things in order to help them. I think what we're doing is using the carrot and stick principle. If we want those prisoners to behave themselves when in prison, we have to have something with which to trade. Now, are you suggesting that we go for the stick rather than the carrot? In other words, if you don't do what you're told, you'll get a kick in the ghoulies.
I think sometimes it would do them good, because I think a lot of the men
Do you really? Because what we have to consider is the type of person you're talking about. Generally, they come from a fairly aggressive background, and it hasn't made them non-aggressive, has it?
Yeah.
You see, I maintain that if you beat somebody, all you do is convince them that violence is a way to get what you want.
Yeah, that's true.
So you don't want them beaten.
No, but a lot of them who leave after serving a time end up back in prison. So
indeed they do. But even in the days of horrendous punishments, they still went back in. They are criminals. They are often people who choose to be criminals, and no amount of punishment will change that. There are others who are criminals because of a malfunction in their personality. Frequently, very frequently, all too frequently, they are criminals because of the lifestyle they've had foisted upon them by an inadequate society. Well, you're not going to change it. You're not going to kick a guy around for the whole of his life, and then when he's 30, start beating him with whips and the like, and convince him that he ought to be a good boy.
No, but I do think they do get quite a good deal these days. It never used to. 10 years ago, it was completely different, wasn't it? You never see the kind of conditions they get these days. You know, you can't complain about the prisoners.
Well, I'm sorry. I'm not complaining about them. You are.
Oh, no, yeah.
However, given a choice, you wouldn't be there.
Oh, no.
So they ain't that good. Good night. Okay. How do Amy?
Hello, Alan. I think the barber is the only one in the village with a beard.
Oh, I think we've eliminated the beard theory.
Oh, have you?
Yeah.
Oh, well, I've been waiting a long time to get
Never mind.
Get through.
Nice of you to join us.
Okay, Alan.
How do Steve?
How do, Alan?
Yep.
I'd like to complain about all these social handouts, government handouts. They should all be banned, lock, stock and barrel. Family allowances.
Why?
Right. I'm self-employed. I work damned hard for my money, as you know self-employed people do. I don't see why...
Hold it. Not all self-employed people do. Some do, some don't. Just like those who are employed.
Yeah. A majority, 90% of self-employed people work damned hard for
Stuff and nonsense. You've nothing on which to base that statistic.
Well,
some of them do, some of them don't.
That's why they're self-employed.
Listen,
if they weren't self-employed, they'd be out of business.
Listen. Stuff and nonsense. You do not have anything on which to base the statistic that you quoted, do you?
My argument isn't about self-employed.
But we're not.
About
listen, can we just establish, first of all, that if it's not your argument that 90% of them work so damned hard, then don't make the statement.
Okay,
if you make a statement, on this programme, you will either defend it or withdraw it. You have chosen to withdraw it. Now tell me why there should not be state handouts, as you call them.
As I call them. I think that they all should be banned because I do not see why my taxes should go to people who are not prepared to work or who can't work to support them. If they don't work...
So a thalidomide child is born, or a child with those kind of conditions, who has no ability to feed him or herself. His parents have died. Are we then to let this thing starve?
Yes. Going back...
Then, sir, I hope you die today, because tomorrow is too long for you to live. You, sir, are filth. I would not pee on you if you were burning. I would applaud the flames.
Tracy's Discount Store with with lots of bargains and so much more.
If you enjoy saving money, you've probably heard about Tracy's Discount Store already. But if you haven't, just listen to this for starters.
Versal Automatic News System E3, 89 pence. Sure Antiperspirant Deodorant, 225ml, £1.19. 6-piece patio set including parasol, $29.99.
So come on, ladies, add Tracy's to your shopping list at Ormskirk Road, Pemberton, Wigan and Euston Road, Morecambe.
Tracy's Discount Store.
A street, a sound is the start of the day. It's the heat of the road, it's breaking away. A kiss, a glance, it is hot, it is cool. A smile, a chance, it is breaking a rule. It's just how you feel when you know it's for real. It's a hit, it's a Coca-Cola, is it?
The Munich Beer Festival is famous throughout the world for everyone to have a good time. There's more barrels than at the OK Corral, and departure dates are the 17th or the 24th of September or the 1st of October. You'll stay at the classy Gasthof Zillertal in Strasse, if we can drag you away from the bar, that is. And the cost, half board, is just £99. But make sure you ring Avalon Travel today, because this is on a first-come, first-served basis. Get it? Avalon Travel, phone Bolton, 398788.
There goes another one in the 300 car challenge at Mr. Smith the Nissan Man, and another £20 to the National Children's Home.
I'll do John.
Good morning, Alan.
Morning.
My brother recently gave me a gun.
This is it. The best place to go. The Coach House Diner is the one you'll want to know. Yeah, this is it.
Steaks, chicken, fish, salads, pizzas, pasta, sandwiches, whatever you fancy for lunch or dinner, call into the Coach House Diner in Lytham. 5 different eating areas and 2 exciting bars. Plenty of room for everyone. The Coach House Diner, opposite the Green on Henry Street, Lytham.
The Coach House Diner, this is it. The name is White Gates, and that means action!
Buy or sell your house with Whitegates and you receive a whole bundle of money off vouchers in the Whitegates Wise Buy wallet. Save hundreds of pounds in major stores on electrical goods, carpets and furniture. It's practical help at a time when you need it most. And a practical reason to move with tomorrow's kind of estate agent.
Whitegates!
It's everybody's idea of a trip to paradise, a holiday in Hawaii. And it's probably your idea of a holiday that's way out of reach. But now, for Red Rose listeners, that idyllic Hawaiian holiday is genuinely affordable. For £599, we'll spend 2 nights in Los Angeles and 9 in Hawaii. The price includes transport, flights and hotel accommodation. When you consider the standard airfare alone is nearly as much as that, I think you'll agree this is an outstanding holiday offer. We leave on the 2nd of November, but you must book as early as possible to guarantee your place. Pick up your Hawaii holiday leaflet from Red Rose Radio or any branch of National Travel World. And sit back and imagine the tropical palms, the Pacific sunsets, the Hawaiian guitars.
How do Graham?
How do, Alan? It's about this Channel Tunnel.
And?
Well, it's about 25 miles long. So it could just solve one of this country's major problems all in one go.
Go on.
Because it might just be big enough, you see.
I'm sure you're going to tell me your humorous remark now.
Well, not really, no. I reckon that if all the Asian minority in this country...
If all the
like
what?
all of them,
If all the what? If all the what?
fit in?
If all the what?
All the Asians in this country.
Why would we want to dig a tunnel?
No, if it's already dug, and they all fit... Would you think they'd all fit in the tunnel in one go with it being 25 miles long?
We'd probably fit them all in your mouth. Certainly fit them in your head, your bloody brain's taking none of the room up. How do Michaela?
I'd just like to ask you if in the near future you'll be doing any more of your live shows.
No.
No, none at all.
None whatsoever.
Okay, thanks a lot.
Thank you very much. How do John? John's gone. How do Christopher?
I don't. What's your views on pirate radio?
What are yours?
What are mine?
Yes.
Well, I'm quite keen on it. I think it personally it's better than local and national.
Why don't you listen to it now then?
Well, I would do, but I can't get it up here.
You'll have to do without then.
Okay, that's fair enough.
In what way do you consider it to be better than local and national?
Well, it just gives a better the people's choice. You see, it's a better opinion. What they want to hear, what they listen to.
Better opinion doesn't. Will you turn your radio off now, please? When you say it's a better opinion, will you turn your radio off now, please?
Yeah. Yeah.
Off.
Okay, it's off. It's off.
You're a liar.
What do you mean a liar?
It means that you're not telling the truth.
Well, I know what a liar means. How can you tell that, though?
Because at the time I said it, I could still hear your radio.
Well, it's off now, though.
Now it is.
Thank you.
Previously it wasn't when you said it was.
Well, it's not now.
Fine. But
Okay.
previously you said it was. That is
Okay.
why I called you a liar, because you were, at
Okay.
that time, a liar.
You called me out on that one, then. Okay, my
I didn't
mistake.
catch you out. I just stated a fact.
Okay.
Now, will you tell me what the statement means? Well, I can't even remember the statement. It was so puerile. Explain why you think pirate radio is better than national and local.
Well, it's just my opinion at the moment, because I was listening to your radio, because I'm from Yorkshire. I was just the first time I've heard you.
Well, we're not really bothered where you're from. I'm
No, it's
asking
a
you.
bit- no, that's
I'm not
just,
interested in how many times you've heard me. I want to know why you think pirate radio is better than local and national. That's a simple enough question, even from someone who is from Yorkshire.
Yeah, well, that's fair enough. That's fair enough, yeah.
Well, give us your bloody answer, then, you prat.
Oh, don't come here, for that. But,
Well, why not? We've already established that you're a liar, and so far I've asked you the same question 4 times and you haven't given any answer to it, so I think I've established that you're a prat. So now will you give me your answer, or will you make way for someone that's got a brain?
No, not my answer. You answered my statement.
Good night, my cretinous friend. How do, Adrian? No, not Adrian. This is Adrian. How do?
Hello?
Yeah.
Right. If you weigh a whale at a railway station, where do you weigh a pie?
I'm sure you're going to tell me.
On a rainbow.
Oh, I weigh a pie.
Oh, you knew it!
I did, yes. I couldn't think of it quick enough, unfortunately. Goodbye. How do, Pauline?
Hello, Alan. I'd just like to say hello and thank you for quite a nice time we had on It's Your Turn when I spoke to you a few weeks ago.
Well, you've said it. How do, Tony?
Hello.
Yes?
Yes, when you was on the phone a couple of weeks back talking to somebody about Social Security payments, you said no one should claim any Social Security while they're working at the same time. You said you thought it was wrong. Well, I don't
I
think
actually said unemployment benefit, but go on.
Yes, well, anyhow, I think people, widows, say, with their children, who can earn some extra money, say cleaning or something like that, to just keep their kids, their family in clothes.
Tony,
or
let me
anything
just
like that. I don't
establish
think
what.
that's wrong at
Let me
all,
just establish what I think is wrong.
Go on.
I think it is wrong for someone to claim benefits to which they would not be entitled if they had employment, and to have employment. I think that is wrong from a number of points of view, not the least of which is it's criminal. It is also immoral in that the level of benefit is decided upon at government, knowing the degree of take-up. Now, if people are taking up illicitly, then they are getting benefit that could otherwise go in the pockets of those